All right. Greetings and welcome back once again. This is Imuna. I pray everybody is doing well and that I can be heard. Let me move this thing real quick just to make sure that I can be heard. Yep. I could be heard because the little thing is moving. And for those who have just joined us and you're new to the channel, you don't know already, welcome to the conversation. Like, subscribe, and do all that lovely stuff. Over here, we do a mix of all kind of stuff. But today, I want to talk about some current events. Now, yesterday I came across this lady here whose implant busted, and I was going to talk about that today. But then Jacure is busted. So now I got to talk about them both. And hopefully we can pick sense from nonsense from these conversations. So for those who don't know, Jacure is a reggae artist who, when he first came out, got into some serious trouble in the 2000s. And he ended up going to, I think it was in the 2000s, he ended up going to jail somebody for a rape charge, right? And so he was in there and they were like, he didn't do it and he's innocent. And, there was one particular song I do remember. I remember because I was in New York at the time and just doing some soul searching. You know what I mean? I'm going to be soul searching for a while. And there's a song that came out, Prison Walls. I mean, that's the part I remember. I don't think that's the name of the song. But his voice, although not perfect, it was very soulful, right? So I would listen to that song over and over and over. Behind these prison walls, doing my paces, spending my time. Needless to say, Jacure was my dude, right? Jacure was my dude. I'm never gonna front because, again, with me, you don't have to sing the best, like the purest, pristine voice. You have to have soul with it, right? He sang many hits, many hits, right? So what's going on? So for the Caribbean community, shout out to the Caribbean community. There's some who love him and some who hate him because his attitude is not always the best. And we see he's kind of like a Jamaican Kanye, if that's okay to say. Let me know if you agree, if you know what. He kind of got a Jamaican Kanye vibes, right? Where he just says all kind of things and then thinks about them later. And because he has talent and he's able to put out music, oftentimes people overlook him. And so, he was getting reckless in recent years. He was doing the reckless thing. He was doing his Kanye vibe conversation. And so he got over, we're going to read the article because he went over to Netherlands, the conversation is, and he ended up stabbing someone. And they ended up pressing charges. And now this is the outcome of that situation. So the first time he got out of jail and then he went hard into his music, he got married, and then the wife divorced him because he was acting reckless. You know what? The more I talk about him, he is Jamaican Kanye. Just for those he is our Jamaican Kanye, okay? So I'm going to go over to this article. And a little bit of R. Kelly in the sense that the music is infectious, and then you have the struggle to, hold on, my neighbor's coming. Hello, how are you? Yes, they said it blew away. Thank you so much. You have a good day. See, it came back. So, I didn't know this was what blew away. So, yeah, it's when I had to tell my children, because, there's few clean songs that you can listen to. So some of his older music we listened to. And when I had to say that, what he did, they was like, what? Because how can you sing about the creator and still be troubled at the same time? I think we could have that conversation. We often see that with a lot of musicians when they start singing, it's all of this, bless me, all of this music, all of these lyrics, and then they live their life quite contrary. So I'm going to go over to the article right now and try not to bust out into song because, if he did it, he needs to go sit down and have several seats. And based on what they brought forth, he did it. Right? So let's read this article real quick. Jacure sentenced to 6 years in prison. Reggae singer star Jacure was convicted of attempted manslaughter and sentenced to 6 years in prison in the Netherlands on Tuesday. So not only are you going to prison, Holmesy, you're going to be singing behind these prison walls once again. And when they're done, they're probably going to dip you which not probably, they will deport you. And then who knows what happens when you arrive back on the island? They probably won't let you out anymore. Who knows? So then your music career, the behind these prison walls, see, behind these prison walls. Anyway, uh, Singer was found not guilty of attempted murder by the court, which rejected his self-defense claim. The 43-year-old man was sentenced to 6 years in prison with credit for time served for attempted manslaughter. The court finds him not guilty of attempted murder. So he doesn't get a murder charge, he gets a attempt manslaughter charge. His claim of self-defense was rejected by the court. Franklin Watimena, press officer of Netherlands Public Prosecution Service. Why is my thing going dead? Hold on one second. Hold on, peoples. My computer. Okay, there we go. Jacquier's legal team may choose to appeal the ruling in the Netherlands Court of Appeal. Both the 43-year-old man and the prosecutor can appeal to the Court of Appeal within 2 weeks if they disagree with the court's ruling, Watimena said. He was arraigned in a Netherlands court last year and spent his 43rd birthday as well as Christmas and New Year's Day behind bars. What about your little child, sir? Were you thinking about your child when you pushed out the knife and tried to jam the man? I'm saying. Jakier, whose given name is, I can't even, Sikatur Alcock, is facing attempted murder, attempted manslaughter, aggravated assault, or attempted aggravation assault in relation to an alleged stabbing incident involving event promoter Ricardo Papa Blake on October the 1st at Dam Square in the city of Amsterdam. Jakier was in Amsterdam for a performance. Let's get this straight. You go over there, foreign country, for a performance, and you have a knife on you, and you get into something with the promoter and you stab him? The True Reflection singer has had previous run-ins with the law. He was charged with illegal possession of a firearm, rape, and robbery with aggravation, and following his conviction received 15-year sentence in 1999, but was released early in 2007 after serving 8 years. 4 years later, went on trial on drug possession charges after found a small quantity of marijuana in the artist's motor vehicle during a spot check in St. Andrew, West Jamaica. Jacquier is known for songs including Longing For, Call on Me, and Unconditional Love. And I'm trying not to bust out into song as we speak because this is difficult. Again, this is for those people who say, they wouldn't put down the R. Kelly conversation to separate or do you, the person, from their behaviors. Clearly, his behavior does not reflect some of the stuff that he was singing. Never heard of him, but the information is alarming. He sounds like he has something going. Right. He sounds like he has something going on. He some type of control issue, lack thereof. Again, not in because Kanye is not violent. So when I said the Jamaican Kanye, we don't have any evidence of Kanye being violent. I was really saying it for those who was like, wait a minute, Kanye is not violent. On the respect of just saying anything without really thinking of the repercussions. And clearly in this case, he's doing anything. You see the vibe? Yeah, it's kind of like a mixture. 8 years he got before for rape charge that he swore blind that he didn't do. He was much younger at that time. He may have anger issues. What is wrong with my thing? Hold on. Oh no. Let me know if I could be heard. because my battery died. The battery on the laptop died. Hold on one second. Let me see something. If I could be heard. 1, 2. Yeah, I could be heard. So the battery on the laptop died. So now I had to come on the cell phone. And so the woman on the thumbnail, now that we did the whole Jakira is going to jail again, for the Caribbean people out there who know what's going on, that dude, I don't know what's up with that dude. So the woman on the thumbnail now, because both of them are busted, I wanted to read this article, but now I have to go get the other, all these, the other, let me go get the other thing because this computer is dead. So if you give me what, you can hear me now? Yeah, no. The laptop went out. So let me go get the other thing so we can read this article on this OnlyFans woman from the UK. You're gonna have to plug this in here. You can sit this right here. Hold on, everybody. Let me play a commercial real quick. I'll be right back. If I could find the commercial. Do, 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 do. So before we get into her, I just put up a coupon for the rest of the month of March for 16% off. Hence Sweet 16, because it's syrups. So if you haven't tested it out, here's a perfect opportunity to test out the yummy syrups. Now let me pull up this article so that I can read it. Hold on one second. She goes from OnlyFans to GoFundMe. Is she serious? I had it all pulled up on the other computer. So now we're talking about breast implants and augmentation and the pressures of society. Some of these people, OnlyFans women, breasts, they're following society. And who is society but more people, right? Into, hold on, into altering themselves, their personality, their behavior, so much so that they're unrecognizable. And then they're left to deal with the fallout of what has happened, right? So in this particular case, as we know, these sites here that these people go over to is no, I wanted to read the thing with more. These sites these people go over to is virtual prostitution, right? That's what we're gonna call it, virtual prostitution, where they virtually prostitute themselves, pun intended, by exposing themselves in all manner of ways for money, to get the bag, as they say, right? And this particular woman, she put, see, the wind was mad and slammed the door. Good thing my toe wasn't there. She put breast augmentation or breast implants in, and the breast implant leaked. I guess she was having complications. Hold on, I'm trying. Why I keep saying is because I'm trying to pull back up the article. The breast explodes or leaks, and now she has one enlarged breast. It's not funny. It's kind of crazy. Now she has one enlarged breast and the other no breast, because it's like a water balloon that the water was let out. So the breast that you actually had there is nothing now. What is going on in life? And so she can't have that, because how you gonna be on OnlyFans with one titty? Yeah, one titty on OnlyFans. That can't work. So now she's on YouTube, not YouTube. What the thing name? What's the next place name? GoFundMe, asking her supporters to hop on over to the GoFundMe to get another titty input. But my question is, if you were on OnlyFans and that worked for you, how come you don't got no much more money for another breast? I'm confused. I'm confused about what's going on. So I can read a little bit of the article. OnlyFans UK girl has a meltdown in the hospital after her implant exploded. She's asking for donations. I'll read that again. Judith says, I considered breast implants when I was younger. The idea of having to get that needle and a knife stuck in me scared me completely. Yeah, I mean, just questions. I just have questions about, I know people do it for different reasons. So, like on 90 Day, if anybody follows that madness, the young woman who is with this new guy she's from Colombia, he's from New York, she's trying to stick him up, talking about if you want to get married, then give me some breast money for breast implants. I'm like, because she wants to get a job. So somebody somewhere is behind some desk, some director, some Instagram influencer, somebody somewhere is continuously encouraging these women, even themselves. I don't know who it is. I'm not just blaming men or women. Somebody is still in this year of 2022 still convincing somebody that putting in some fake silicone breasts is the way to go. Let's see if we can hear her voice and then we'll read the article. How about that? Oh wait, nah, pause. Now she gonna be cursing all. I forgot. And the woman got a clothing line called F It. Never mind, because she's gonna be making all this noise. Anywho, she comes on like you see here with one breast. First of all, what's going on with the breast in and of itself? That is way oversized. It doesn't. I don't know. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping. A foreign substance in your body that can leak, that can become infected. I don't know. Anyway, on March 11th, 2022. So after my fourth time of having sepsis, people, in a year, you would think that would be help me GoFundMe to take out the titty, not to put a new one in. My boob, her unfortunately, it got so bad this time that she got pus buildup. After squeezing out all the pus in the hospital, desperate to save the implant, not desperate to save her life, not desperate to save what was left of her breast tissue, desperate to save the implant. She was left with necrosis. The dead skin died, and the implant totally came through, Father help us, through the skin. Go fund my boob. Yes, Judah, that's where she's at right now. The implant pushed the nipple to the side, and now she has to have the implant removed to save her body from getting sepsis into her organs. Into her organs. After 3 months of having no breast implant, she can then go back, and now she giving the name. Like, she wanted it to be credible. This lady, she don't need a breast implant. She need a psychiatrist. So she said sepsis. That means that your body can just, your organ them start to shut down. But she was like, nah. I need you to listen. Just calm down. She tried to save the titty. It didn't work. And now she wants to go back to all caps, Dr. Revis at South Florida Plastic Surgery to get reconstructive surgery and start her journey again from 800 cc's. Lady, what breast tissue are you going to use? If the silicone slipped out the bottom of through the nipple and flicked out, I don't even know her description. It just sounds wild. It just popped out. What breast tissue is he going to use? But anywho, she wants to start her journey again at 800 cc. I wouldn't, what is it, have started this page if I had the money. But what are you now? Um, Unfortunately, things haven't been easy as I had OnlyFans sites taking away mental and financial difficulties. Lady, maybe that's an indication that you should find another occupation. But no, she's not ashamed. It's how life is, and she keeps going. So she's asking for donations to get that surgery. She has an implant taken out, and she knows it is expensive, but total reconstruction of both boobs and nipples. She's asking for donations, and we're gonna go over to the donation page. But check it out, though. I'm gonna come see what you guys read. Some of these crazy. I used to do these crazy stories, but then I couldn't keep up with all the crazy stories. But this here is a crazy story. Both she and Jakira are busted. Okay, each for their own. Something is going on in her mind. Something is going on in her mind. I'm gonna come to the comment section in a second. So when I jumps over to GoFundMe, homie done raised. No, she wants to raise 20,000 pounds. Yeah, and she's currently at 9,188 pounds. I guess it's 10,000 pounds per breast. I suppose that's how much she wants to raise. Let's go here. And then she goes into the whole story again as to why. But she gave a little update. So a little update, as you have probably seen on Twitter, her implant exploded last night. She managed to get to the hospital, but now she has got to wait until she can get reconstruction on both breasts. I mean, hopefully she takes this opportunity to bethink herself. You know, when the creator said, bethink yourself, like, you know what, I should not put this in. You're like, you could have wholly died. But I guess she's just going to keep going, as she said. That's both of them being taken down and hopefully getting the left one looking great. Vanity, vanity, all is vanity. I just put that part in. It's a real blow today. I'm feeling more positive after a total meltdown last night. She's sorry you had to see the breast like this. Like the breast now is its own entity. But as you know, I don't hide anyway. I need help at this time. It's very rare I do, but I really need help. The past year, I've had many socials taken down or restricted. You think? You think? You think? Her OnlyFans, now she's crying. She's playing the violins for the fact that her OnlyFans sites were taken down. Lady, what are you selling over there on OnlyFans? Are you making the world a better place? She's still fighting. She used the last bit of money saved on her family and bills. So literally, this is why she's having to raise the money on here. She appreciates every donation. And then she shows a picture of the deflated titty. This is where we at today in the world, people. This is where we at today. Let's go over here and see what people are saying. Overwhelming majority of only simps I can't and prostitutes are barely making McDonald's minimum wage. Only the ones that look like supermodels. I mean, you're virtually prostituting yourself out, and you're selling your soul for a Happy Meal. What is going on in the world, though? Judah says she will. I can't. You think this is mental illness because it makes no sense. But it's not only her. There was something I wanted to come out, or if I talked about it before, the amount of women that are going to Turkey, that are going to the DR, that are going to South America for cheaper implants, for they even followed it on the 90-day spinoff. Like they went to Turkey to go get tummy tuck, breast implant, this, that, this, that, this, that. What are we doing, bruh? Looking like plastic Barbie. What is going on at this point? Or is it out of control? What's going to make the people stop? And even when they are not taken serious by any majority of people, these elective surgery stories blow my mind. So, oh yeah, I heard that she had Hive. I heard that there's a new show that I forgot the name of it. That Michelle was doing. And I wanted to take a look at it because most definitely she was one. I remember when she came on Iana, what's the lady name? Van Zant, and she was in her feelings because she couldn't sit on her behind. The silicone, she was getting these illegal shots. They migrated down to her, all throughout her body, made her really sick. Like, when does it stop? When does it stop? You know what I mean? So I might check that show out and review it as well. She will have to heal first. Correct. What doctor? And then she shouted out some doctor and some location. What doctor is going to touch you? Because questions, what caused it to become sepsis? What caused, she said 3 or 4 times in 1 year. Who's putting these implants in, and how did it jump out? People are moving their titty nipples around. Like, there's so many crazy stuff going on. I don't know. It's all vanity. Yeah, there are P stars that talk about. I don't know what that is. I don't want to go down too far in this rabbit hole, but let me see here. I don't know what says it. Oh, John is over here typing stuff, and I'm over here like, what in the world? I came from an unloving family and desired to be loved by anyone as a teen. I noticed that big boobs seem to be a very loved girl. So I thought, okay, thank you for sharing that thought process. I have my theories about breast. I'm gonna tell you in a minute. Here's my theory. Or mental illness. Yeah. So here's my theory about and let me know your thoughts. My theory about people's attraction to breast, right? So if innately people are geared towards survival, right? And the child, when first born, moves towards the breast because the breast sustains life. The breast provides comfort, right? So oftentimes for some, seeing the breast, the male who sees the breast intuitively is drawn towards comfort and survival, and it's the thing that is very innate. Like, you don't have to teach, for the most part, a child how to suck. The child comes out the womb, you put them there, and they understand that this is where they're going to get their nourishment. So I think on a very base level, people, the women want the breast because they feel like it makes them look better. It's just like in other spaces, broader hips means that the very things that the body was designed for, the woman is optimally designed to do her job. And the man is attracted to the woman who's optimally designed to do their job. On another note, I said this before, that breasts, because they protrude outwards in what's the word I'm looking for here? In function, they're male in function, or masculine in function, not male, but masculine in function, because they're first a giver, right? The breasts are first give when the season is right, when the situation is right, the woman produces milk, right? She gives comfort. Even in the Bible, it says, lay your head on my breast. You know what I mean? So there's something that's there that attracts people, but now it's being perverted. People are looking to do it in a way that's very synthetic, right? They're looking so that you can't even find the comfort from the breast anymore because they're not real. You know what I'm saying? There's people whose breasts, again, like we saw there, they're leaking out, they're getting infected, they're getting fungus. So now it's just very artificial, and there's no nourishment in there. Kind of like the way the food is going, kind of like the way relationships are going, kind of like the way connections are going. Everything is very inauthentic. And I think it just, hey, Queen T, what's going on? I think the woman's obsession with breast and behind, the men's obsession with looking a certain way, it's a mirror for us to understand where we are in society. Very, very vain, very topical. We've moved away from function. Yeah, the breast becomes erect. This is when it's able to give, right? If the milk comes out, when everything the way it functions, I could get real specific, but y'all understand what I'm saying. Check it out. Just check it out. Yep. So yeah, thumbs up the video, like the video, share, and all that good stuff. Let me play this commercial one more time, and then we'll come back and close out our thoughts on what we just saw. What is going on? What is going on? What do you do when you get old? Do you have to get cut and put more ones in there? Uh, these are all, if you've had breast implants, how do they work? Feel free to share. I know I kind of went in because this situation right here is crazy. I thought this would have been enough for the lady. Yeah, so basically there is a coupon code Sweet 16. If you go over to the Yummy Cottage, you can get a percentage off when you go over there. So Judah was telling us that she thought that the attention that other girls were getting from having bigger breasts, then she thought that that would get her the attention that she was looking for. And there's a lot of women who thinks, okay, my breasts are not big enough. I need bigger ones, and that means. But here's the kicker for me. Like a brother used to say, here's the rub. Then when you get the bigger breast or the body that attracts the wrong type of attention, then a lot of women are like, why are you looking at me? So you did it for people to look at you or for you to get the attention. And then now you're getting the attention. The attention is making us feel uncomfortable. Nasha, welcome to the conversation. Nasha is saying most men want young women. So is that what that indicates? Times having changed. I work for this elderly man who lived there in World War II, and we used to tell him that butt is a new face. We put him confused every time. He made us laugh, but it was something to. Yeah, something is not natural. I saw somebody having a woman with a fupa, the little stomach flap, and they're like, "Oh, whatever happened to the fupa?" Man, you told her that she was fat. That's what happened to the fupa. You told her she was fat, and so now she wants to get snatched and wear the You know why they stopped wearing the corset so much? A, because they were uncomfortable, and B, because they were messing up the bones around the ribs. Right? So it's like we are revisiting some stuff that didn't necessarily. They used to put whale bones. They used to make the corsets and draw them so tight that the woman couldn't breathe. She had respiratory problems. Her organs were all switched up, and here we are. I'm not saying that we don't need to be walking around with some big old wanga belly, as they used to say, but the extremes that women are going through today, there's a level of, if you show up authentically you, without filter, without like pounds of makeup, without the status quo Instagram baddie body, if you show up authentically you won't be accepted. And I think to a certain degree, there's a lot of women, not all, but a lot of them who are buying into this narrative. Some women will say they're not doing it to please a man. Some women will say they're doing it for themselves. I've heard many say, I'm not doing it for no man. They say they're doing it for themselves. Are they telling the truth, or is Nasha correct? Are they really doing it for the man, but they don't want to admit it? And if we can look up, and I think I did before, the majority, the number of plastic surgeons in the country, I'm gonna look it up. I can't see my screen right now because I'm on the other thing. But the number of plastic surgeons, and then the number of plastic surgeons who are men. So that goes to show you something to a certain degree. And I've said this before, instead of making people feel, keep them well, there are a lot of masculine energy playing God. If you see when they go into these offices, it's the man there saying, yep, I can make your nose thinner, I can make your lips bigger, I can make your waist snatched. It's the man. I can make your butt bigger. It's the man, the masculine, in those offices playing God. I ain't trying to start no trouble. I'm just saying. What are your thoughts on that? Let me see. I want to see the number of plastic surgeons. The vast majority of plastic surgeons are men. So then who are the women doing it for? And who are they going to get it done? Uh, Judah's saying, since she's older, she doesn't like to be called sexy. It makes her feel as if it doesn't really matter. Okay. The women aren't doing it for the men. John is saying that the men are saying they don't like it, and the women are doing it anyway. And he's naming those eyelashes are everything, though, you guys. I'm not going to front them eyelashes. They're getting out of hand. They're getting really out of hand. Some of these women cannot lift. I love you guys, but backside, you can't even lift your eye. It's so heavy that it looked like a broom. it's too. It's I don't know what's going on in the world today, yo. The eyelashes is ridiculous, man. If you blink, your eye won't open for a good 30 seconds because the eyelash is struggling. Um, Man, I've been telling. I work out with a waist trainer or clean up. Yeah, it does help your back. It does help your back. But some of the way these people are pulling, 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 I have one when I'm standing up working, it does help your back take the pressure off the bottom of your back, right? So that I'm not going to say no, especially if you don't have good posture while standing up. And it helps support while working out as well. So I would agree with that. But some of these women not working now, Queen T. Some women not working now. Still the number of men, no, of male plastic surgeons. Hold on. I'm coming, everybody. I want to get a number for you guys. I don't want to just make it up. You know what I mean? In the U.S. So now they're going to Turkey because it's cheaper over there in Turkey. They're getting dentals. They're shaving down their teeth. Why are we shaving down our teeth? No. So the man is there saying he can give you better teeth. Like he's over there playing God. Here we go. Cosmetic statistics. Let's see here. Here comes Nyasha. Nyasha say, Nyasha come back stirring the pot. She says the price of patriarchy. What do you guys think? What do you think? Can you fight her today or you want to agree? No, I'm not finished. Just go back and sit until I'm done. Okay, True Diamond said the men like it, just not in their wives. If men didn't like it, they wouldn't view certain things like blinky blank. They idolize these things in their heart. I mean, low key, because if there wasn't a market for it, then would the lady be on OnlyFans? Questions. Okay, country with the highest number of plastic surgeons is America, US. Country with the second highest number of cosmetic procedures is Brazil. The most common surgical cosmetic procedure worldwide, can we guess? What's the most common is breast augmentation. I don't wanna Top 10 surgical procedures. Number one, at 1.6 million is breast augmentation. At 1.5 million is liposuction. 1.2 is eyelid surgery. 852,000 rhinoplasty. Abdominoplasty is at 765,000. A breast lift is at 500,000. Is causing health problems. This is where you understand what I'm saying? It's causing health problems, and though some women go in for breast reduction, and so that's a different situation altogether. And that is 426,363. And then we have facelift and buttocks, or the Brazilian butt lift conversation there. Let me go back here. How do I go back? How do I go back? That was interesting. Wait a minute. Let me go back. Okay, here we go. Then I wanted to see how many men were doctors. So be still. Right now, I'm looking at statista.com. Sometimes when I ask people, where did you get those statistics from? It's because sometimes we be making stuff up. Okay. I don't like to be making it up. So Surgical top costs. Revenue for surgical and non-surgical cosmetics. Age distribution. Let's look at age distribution of breast augmentation. Let's see. Let's see. Can we guess the majority of women who get the breast augmentation is between the ages of 35 and 50? Between the ages of 35 and 50, they're at 46.4%. Before that, I guess they would have more money by that time. Before that, it's 18 to 34 at 37, nearly 40%, 37.2% of women in the age of 18 to 34 is getting breast augmentation. That's wild, yeah? So it's big money. You not feeling good about yourself. You not identifying, oh man, come on, why do that? Why do that? With who you are, they make money off of it. Somebody is somewhere making money. Okay, physicians in the United States. Let me see right here. Ain't nobody pay. Can you believe these people want $500 for this thing here? Y'all tripping. Let me go back here. If I don't find it now, I'll find it again. I'll come back and let you guys know because I know I did that research before and I found out that it was men, like almost 90 something percent. It was less than 3%, but I don't want to misquote them, of the plastic surgeons being men. Male doctors. Any questions or comments, feel free to share. Oh, let me give you guys the link. 1 second. All I ask is that we be respectful if we come through. What is all this nice? Hold on. Here we go. There's a link if you have anything to share. What did women do way back in the day? I suppose other things. I suppose other things. You know, there's always, we see Jezebel in the window beautifying herself. So I guess this is just an extent. We see ancient Egyptians walking around with, incense cones on their hair and having this elaborate process of beautifying themselves. I guess in whatever country or time period it is, there is a standard of beauty, right? In the Victorian era, they're over there putting it's that white, some white substance on their face, because the paler they were, it means the more pristine there was, because they were inside and the sun wasn't burning them, right? So in every time period, there seems to be a standard of beauty. um and in this time period, I guess the standard of beauty is how quote unquote perfect. In other cultures, is how big you are, how much weight you are, how voluptuous you are, right? In some cultures, is how long your neck is. You know what I mean? How flat your forehead is. It really just depends on where you are. I think it's a human thing. In ancient Chinese or Asian space, they would bind the foot of the woman to keep her feet so small, because that meant whatever they ascribed to it, that gave it some value, that they jacked up. Have you guys ever seen that foot binding thing? That foot binding thing was serious. They used to bind up these women's feet. They couldn't even walk so that they could fit in these little unrealistic shoes. So causing deformities to the human body, and especially to the female human body, is nothing new. Nothing new at all. Percentage of, now I'm obsessed with getting the percentage, y'all. Y'all just please excuse me. Percentage. Well, I'm gonna come and read in a minute. Of male plastic surgeons. And you hear what it's called? It's called plastic surgery, bruh. Plastic? Surgeons. Okay. All right, I'm coming. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, my number was off. 85%. Men make up 85% of board certified plastic surgeons in 2016. Okay, 85%. So I gave them 90. They said 85%. Hold on. I'm gonna read this quick little article. So 3/4 of the people who is messing around with people's bodies are male. Nasha says we lost power as women a long time ago. They're heavily focused on the outside. Yep, feminine has to tap into inside power. That part I agree. That part I agree. And because the concentration is solely on the outside, then humanity is in balance. How you gonna say the ladies with weave and eyelashes are all side chicks? Come on now. You see how long I look for this stat? I am going to contest that, John. I don't think they're all side chicks. I don't think so. That, yeah. Okay, plastic surgeons are mostly men, and then I'm gonna tap out after this. But their patients are mostly women. This was written back in 2017. It may have changed, but this was back in 2017. It says in 2016, 1.7 million elective cosmetic surgeries were performed in the U.S. Of 1.7, 200,000 were rhinoplasties or nose jobs. Women underwent 75% of these nasal surgeries, the vast majority of which were performed by men. Men make up 85% of board certified plastic surgeons. If in 2016 you selected one of those surgeons at random, you would have been nearly 6 times more likely to wind up with a man than with a female, 1 in 6. Finding a plastic surgeon is not exactly like drawing blindly from a hat. Go back. There are online directories and annual rankings like Super Doctor and America's Top Doctor. A search on the second database of plastic surgeons within 50 miles of my Massachusetts hometown returned 61 top doctors. 8 of them were women. So out of 61, 8 of them were women. So there goes the number right there. And many of these shows that we see on TV, TLC, and all of these different places, it's a man. It's a man who pops through. He's telling you, yeah, I'm gonna make your boobs bigger. I can make your nose smaller. I can. So what is this? What is this standard, and where is the standard coming from? Oh, John is in. Hold on. No, just wait. So we're almost finished here because they trying to run up and down. John is saying it's true. The men have been telling women since the 80s to please stop wearing weave. Why did they start in the first place, John? Eyelashes and nails. All they did ended up, I mean, why did they start in the first place? Why did they start straightening their hair? Why did they start wearing weaves? Why did they start putting on false nails? Can anybody help me why? All right. I think we have Nash in the spot. If anybody else wants to click the link, feel free to do so. Can you be heard? Can I be heard? I don't. Yeah, wigs are a staple for white women. That's another. Wigs are a staple for white women, but you only see it in the melanated person because you can pass it off as being your hair if you're European or if you're of another nationality. But it's like you can't pass it off as being your hair because we know you could pass it off as being Asian hair, you can pass it off as being European hair, even Indian hair, where a lot of these weaves come from. But you cannot pass it off as being your hair, and therein lies the problem. So what happens is other people and other cultures are more or they're more acclimated to the wearing of the wig, and people are more inclined to believe it's theirs. But if we think that the large majority of fake hair market is solely for melanated people, we are mistaken, bro. Welcome. I saw you, Nasha. I'm not sure. Sorry, I invited you on. I'm not sure what happened. I'll try again. Can you hear me now?
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Thank you so much for the topic. I was reading a book about um, psychology, and that the first patient were women, and then men used to think women are sick. So I start, creating the word psychology. So the most patient were women, but I did not know that most, they are men. That's so interesting. I'm learning everything new about women. It's so interesting. I did watch a movie a long time ago about Japanese culture, and it was so painful when those men were asking women to cut their, their, oh, it was so painful. If they had big foot, they were not marriageable. So men would only marry women, and wealth go through marriage. If you don't marry as a woman, they will end up poor. So most family would break their own daughters. It was so painful when I did watch it. What women in history go through, you know, just to please another gender. It's brutal. I'm even reading a book on African culture, on this tribe, where even a woman, and circumcise themselves to be able to marry. If she is not, men will not marry them. So it's a very complex issue topic, even where women burn their breasts, the men don't look at them. So in South Africa, so yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And thank you for this topic. And I think as women, I also mean myself, we need to try to go back into, meditation, spirituality, because I think that is the woman domain, even seeing those pastors. Uh, this is not a topic, but I do believe as women we need to stop this, outside thing and go back inside because we are completely out of balance. I'm talking about myself, but it's not about just other women. I myself, I also was born in this culture of masculine culture. So if I tend to look at things outside, but I try to always go back inside because it's all about me. You know, this is what I learned. That's all what
Yep.
I wanted to say.
Thank you so much for that. It all leads, and I agree. It all leads back to the self, to the degree that we accept our authentic selves. Um, like what you said, there was a short film about, and I have to remember it. I want to say it was, what's the lady's name from the show Insecure? If she has like a short film, either program or something. But I remember watching a short film where this couple left from one, I don't remember the African country, and they came to foreign, either it was either Europe or America, I don't remember. And when the daughter came of age, the father was trying to send her off to the circumcision uh ceremony where they were circumcising the girls, and her mother remembered what happened to her. So her mother ended up risking everything to rescue her daughter from that situation so that another generation would not endure that. That is some of the things internally and externally that cultures do, to quote beautify the woman or make her acceptable. So again, as we're saying, in this culture, as we are speaking right now, because it changes, but at this time it's the big and over emphasized breast and behind and lips now. Before, having big lips were not a thing, and but now it's a thing, right? And so yeah, it's crazy, and it continues to change. And as you said, if you look up what was going on in Asian cultures and the foot binding, it, it's the extents that people go to. So I really agree that at some point people have to hold the reins again and be still and find peace within and embrace who they are authentically so that we can move forward. Because the whole society, people today are like, I don't want to ruin my breast. So if they have a child, they don't want to feed the child because they want the breast, which it's designed. This is part of the design means you don't have to do anything, and this is what it's going to produce. That means it's part of the function. The function helps you to know what it is and what it's about. But we have deviated so far from function, and we're so heavy to form that everything has just become vain. So that's crazy. They go, what we beefing about now? What's going on here?
Yes, and
Um,
we have so many problems, in the world. We have hunger, we have pain, we have this whole
yes,
C19 thing, but we are busy focusing on our breast. We are busy focusing
correct,
on the outside thing. It's
correct.
crazy.
It's
We have
crazy. It
children.
really
Yes,
is. Like this
people
lady
are in
wants
depression. Yes,
20,000 pounds. While, like you said, they're hungry people. There's people who are on the streets right now, and you want 20,000 pounds to put some new titties on, and the first one's broke. Like, and you came to the conversation with breast, it's not like you had some sickness, some illness, or something that, you know what I mean, extreme. It's crazy. Let's see what John is saying. Black women wear weaves out of insecurity. What are they insecure about, John? And rebellion against hence what is healthy masculine values? No, sometimes it was the man. It was the same melanated man that went after the European beauty standard that made her look at herself and say she was no longer acceptable. The black woman does not make bleaching cream. She has not flooded the continent and the Caribbean with bleaching cream. So somebody is selling her this. This is not just her in her own oh yeah, you know what? I think no, somebody's somewhere are coming together and saying we have to make her feel insecure about who she is. If you look at the documentaries about bleaching cream on the continent, bleaching cream in India, bleaching cream in who's making this bleaching cream? And why do the people feel, namely women, that their color is too dark? And if they were lighter and if they were brighter, they would get more advantages. She ain't come up with that all by herself, John. And it's not just about weaves either. Last time I checked, which black woman have a weave shop where she's actually cutting the hair off of people who line up and sewing the weave together? Somebody else is producing this. So I think it's a bigger problem that if we're honest, it's not just black or white because all nationalities wear weaves, the major ones anyway. You understand what I'm saying? They want more voluminous hair. They want more this, more that, whatever the case may be. So it's not just black women.
and also this colorism is an issue in Asian too, in Thailand too. Thailand
Yes,
people are
yes,
complaining about it.
it's all
Yes,
over. It's all over. If you look at how the dark skinned Indians get treated in India, if you look at the brown Indians versus the ones who can pass, this is everywhere. In like you said, in Asian countries, they're using the bleaching cream too, so that they don't present as being dark. A lot of Asian people, not all, I've seen they have kinky hair, but they do things to make their hair not look so or appear so kinky. So again, this is more than what we're making it to be. This is humanity not being satisfied with the way in which we were created and trying to play God to a certain degree, right? And we're not willing to accept the way we were created. If we were created with broader noses, that's what it is. Full of lips, that's what it is. If you create, you know what I mean? We don't want to accept those things. Those are topical things. The things we need to work on, we're not working on. Like Nasha said, those internal things that we need to work on, we're foregoing that work because it's more difficult. We would rather just do the topical things. But the reality is once the person comes close to you and find out who you are anyway, friend, um romantic, what, whoever it is, it's about relationships here on the earth. And once people come close enough to see beyond the topical, it's going to be who you are at a soul level that really matters. You know what I mean? And a lot, that's why I've talked about it and I've given it a rest over a few years, because I guess everybody comes to that point at their own time. John, let's just not project on people. Let's not go there today. What time is it? 1:05. I'm about to. So you said the cream bothers you. There was a documentary done in Jamaica. One of many. I've watched ones coming off the continent, but this one, I think it was called Bleachers. I can't remember. And they're asked, and the Jamaicans, both men and women, they won't have money for this and that, but they got money to go buy this expensive cancer causing bleaching cream. And they had one of the doctors, out there talking to the people who are buying it, that it erodes the epidermis. Okay, it exposes the skin to fungus and all kind of stuff, because your skin is your protective layer. It's carcinogenic, and she's telling them, you guys need to stop, and they're like, no, they're not going to stop. And the reason they don't stop in Jamaica is because Jamaica, of one of the places where at the end of slavery, afterwards, there was a lot of integration. They kept importing different nationalities. So at one point, the Chinese came, and at another point, Syrians came, and at another point, East Indians came, and at one point, Germans came. This is why the motto of Jamaica is out of many, one people, because at different points, they were bringing in indentured servants, or people were coming to exploit whatever it was, the white, the Spanish. All of these people are there, the melanated from the continent. The system, the caste system that the lighter people still hold the reins today, makes the descendants of those who were enslaved feel that if their skin was lighter, that they would have better opportunities. If their skin was lighter, then they would get that job, right? And so for real reasons, um, that are real and present to them, they think that this bleaching is going to have an advantage. So for some, it's not just, oh, I'm going to get this partner, I'm going to do this thing. It's really socioeconomic advantages that people reap when they feel that they present themselves as a lighter, because there's some conversation, light, it means you're right. Right? So you have the Chinese who are in charge of the stores, and you have Lebanese who's, what I mean, you have certain demographics of people for generations who are the leading class up until this day. And so again, like I said, if you look at Africa, many similar things are happening all over the place. And so if we could elevate the conversation, that would be great. That would really be great. Uh, a true diamond says, I have a Filipino friend, and she says in her country, she's considered dark. Yeah, which is it equals less desirable. Yep. And that's why oftentimes in many of these, even the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico, you don't necessarily see in the advertisements for Puerto Rico dark skin Puerto Ricans, but dark skin Puerto Ricans exist. It's the same thing in the island of Dominica, which shares land space with Haiti. But you more see the Europeanish Dominicans, then you see the dark skinned Dominicans being elevated, right? So this still exists to this day. I remember I was watching a travel channel one time, and they panned the camera, and you saw all of these dark skinned Puerto Ricans behind the guy. I'm like, whoa, pause, rewind. What in the world? But on the everyday, unless you come across them, you're not gonna know that they exist because they're not highlighted. People would rather still bury them. Even the same thing with Brazil. There was a documentary. I like documentaries, by the way, where they talk about marrying white. Like their objective is to bleach out any melanation, any sign of African ancestry in your blood. And so if you come to certain families marrying somebody of a darker hue or complexion, they don't accept that, because their thought is that you're going backwards. So even in New York, when you go to a Dominican hair salon, I don't know how many people, when you go to their hair would be kinky when you wash it, and it will shrink up and look like it has some body and volume to it. But when you leave that salon, it's bone straight. Don't let it get wet. So there's some people who will present as they're white, knowing that if you take a DNA test, you are for sure going to have some melanation up in there. We got True Diamond in the house. Let me add it to the stream. Diamond, welcome to the conversation.
Hey, how you doing, Imuna?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm okay. I said let me jump in here because my blood pressure got up a little bit in the chat room, so it was just going up. So I said let me just say what I have to say. At the end of the day, like what you're pointing at, we're trying to. I think it's unconscious effort. I might not be doing it personally. You may not be doing it personally, but it's happening that we are eradicating all blackness from from ourselves. I heard that saying, I think that was Frances Cress Wessling. She said that if you're white, you're right. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're brown, turn around. But if you're black, stand back. When you look at the depictions, even I'm from the South, so they had the Jim Crow era where things were very, 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 very dark. And we're talking about, the bleaching. And some of these documentaries that you're talking about, I've actually saw them as well, and how the doctor went in and was trying to tell people not to do it. They've even tested those chemicals in those products, and it's just terrible for you. But the people are so addicted to being white, which makes them have value. That means that is something subconsciously in the mind that we think have value, but it really doesn't. God made all colors, so why can't we accept ourselves? Now, I don't know if you've been on other channels, but there's a lot of talk going on about biracials right now. And as they're talking about it, I had a thought in my mind. If biracials are considered black, why are they preferred? If we're all black women, why is it no matter what black woman comes through the door, she's getting the same treatment, she's praised the same, she's helped the same? But in reality, that's not the case. Years ago, I had a very dark, beautiful friend when I was living overseas, and she said to me, Crystal, they will hire you before they hire me because I'm black. Dark black. So that stayed with me, and it never went away. But it just showed me the deeper issue that we have as a people that we really don't want to admit to. Because again, like I was saying in the comment section, that at the end of the day, a lot of men do desire these things, these enhancements. They may not want it, as I said, it maybe for their significant other, because that's a control mechanism, but they want to enjoy it. That's the part I call it a divided reality, which I think I've talked about before. And then again, about the wigs, and I'm gonna close it out here. That has been around. I've worked for elderly in their homes, and when I tell you, I've seen wigs from 50 years ago, and I'll have to tell my client, ma'am, what are you doing with this wig in here? This needs to go. It's a part of, I think it's more like fashion, more like enhancements. For me, I don't look at anyone good or bad. If you have a wig, if you don't, honestly, I feel like it's your business. We need to be focused on what's the inside anyway. Now, yes, a lot of black women and women in general are using it for vanity's sake, but at the end of the day, they still have to take all of that stuff off and be themselves. And a good example of someone who's holding it down in the industry while wearing wigs and clothes and everything else is Dolly Parton. I don't know if anybody heard of her, but she's a very famous white woman singer. And she has interviews on YouTube about how she had the wigs on, why she decided to dress the way she did. It was all entertainment. It was all for lights, camera, action. But she stayed true to herself. She's married, been married for years, do a lot of helping her community and just a lot of things. So it's a layered situation, and you can't take one brush and paint everybody the same as if they're insecure or something like that, because that's not always the case. And that's it.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much for
you
that.
so
Yes.
You
much.
said you saw a 50-year-old wig.
I'm telling you, I mean, it's sitting up on the little stand, and and this was some years ago, but when I was taking care of the elderly in their home when I was younger, and I mean, me and the caregivers used to be like, "Ma'am, it's time to retire it." So they would actually tell us stories about these wigs. They were like they child. They would take them to the beauty shop. They would get roller set and curled and dyed and conditioned and everything, and they would just put them back on their head. So it's like but like I think you did mention, it's only when the melanated woman wears it, because like you said, it does, those wigs normally don't mimic our hair, but it's a wig. What does it matter? It's, I mean, and again, it's your business, and nobody complained. I've never seen anyone complain on the other side. As many wigs that I have seen in my lifetime that they wear, what's the problem? It's only with us that it's just like it's a focus. And I think that that's more of a control mechanism in the melanated man. If I can't control my neighborhoods, I can't control my own life, I can't control a money flow, I'm not building anything sustainable. The one thing I can try to control to give me a sense of belonging, to give me a sense of manhood, is to control the image of the woman that looks like me. And it's funny that that control image is always going back to what is usually rejected when it comes to coupling, when it comes to picking a mate. Black women are the least to get married. Has nothing to do with wigs and weaves. It's because you're black. In my personal opinion, meaning how our communities and mindsets have developed, that they don't see us necessarily as an equal in the same way as someone who is preferred has that preferential treatment. But that's another subject for another day. So,
Oops.
uh-oh. Let me check
I
the
mean, like
comment
you said,
section.
it's a multi-layered discussion.
Yes.
It's not just one way. Some of the stuff John is saying is like they doing it because of this, and that's kind of why I brought up the
No.
bleaching. I brought up all the different cultures that do it, and they're doing
Right.
it for a variety of reasons. Right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not. I
Mm-hmm.
remember. I tell a true story. I tell a true story. When I was growing up, first of all,
Uh-huh.
I have very thick hair, right? So I didn't like
Yes.
my hair combed because it hurt. Everybody who
Right.
know what it is.
Yeah,
So
that's
when
me.
when
I
so
know.
they would take me to my aunt, and I would have to sit all day at the beauty salon. So needless to say, I hated the beauty salon because you go into family member, you're gonna have to wait till all the customers get through, and then you go do
Yeah.
you get your hair done.
Right.
So they're like, oh, I think we should perma here. Like I didn't want no perm, but then it'll make it quote unquote manageable. So some of the
Yes.
thought is actually coming from our own people that came from somewhere else, right? Because
Yes.
we're in this conversation, we're in the enslavement experience, we're in the survival space. Did you have all this time to do hair that took a little bit more time? Right? You couldn't just run your fingers through it. You actually had to
Yeah.
have time to sit and take care of. So when I went to college, I decided, you know what, forget this. My first big chop, I did it myself. I took my scissors and bam, bam,
Mm-hmm.
bam, I cut my hair. When
Right.
my cousin was getting married, I had a cousin was getting married, and my
Mm-hmm.
hair was just natural. The
Mm-hmm.
conversation was, you need to do something with that.
With your hair, right.
Right,
Your
right,
own
right.
hair.
With my
The
own
hair
hair.
growing from your head, from
Right,
your
the one
head.
that's growing from my head. And I
Hmm.
almost didn't participate because I was like, what? And so you kind of have it doesn't necessarily mean the person is not
Mm-hmm.
satisfied with who you are. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's the social pressure
Right.
that's trying to push you into this box, like you have to get a haircut, or you
Mm-hmm.
can't come with your bed looking like that, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. And we're seeing a lot of that even in corporate America today,
Right.
where there's a pushback of, what do you mean? And in the military, what do you mean dreads are not
Right.
acceptable? And what do you mean? You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
even the fight to show up as authentically you.
Mm-hmm.
We can't
Right.
just solely put that on the shoulders of the person who doesn't like who they are. No,
Right.
all
Right.
right. I don't think that's
and
just.
it's and it's historical, and I think you hit on that. Most people don't know the historical nature of the mixing and the colorism. It's a big word now, but what was the genesis of it? I like to look at older movies, and my daughter does too, and we'll see how, like, Roots and things like that, where that favoritism started. It also was that manageability, going back to, like, in white America. I mean, not white America, but in England, you mentioned how they make their skin white, meaning I wasn't in the fields. Well, it's the same with black. If you are mixed or you're light, obviously, which came from a mixture, then that means that you were preferred, you were favored. If you were dark, you were suited for field work. I mean, has anything changed? I mean, it seems like to me we're still obsessed with the color of our skin, and now it has bled over into a wig or a weave or some eyelashes.
And,
I mean, none of that matters.
but as you were speaking, this came to my mind. The obsession to a certain degree with nails is similar to, is your skin dark? If you have nails, some people be
Hmm.
what's the first question they ask? How do you work with that? So this thought
Right.
that my hands are kept and I'm a kept woman, right? Be careful. I'm a kept woman is something
Hmm.
that's revolutionary oftentimes for the melanated woman, because her hands would always be at work. They would always
Exactly.
look like she was washing and she was cooking
Yeah,
and she was in the field, right? So for her to have
exactly.
Yes.
her, it may be intrinsic for her to be like,
Hmm.
no, I'm not gonna go around here looking like that.
Well, and again, that goes back into. I'm glad you said that. And these are just my thought process. I'm a lot like you. Sometimes when you be saying, "Oh, I'm thinking of this," my mind is, going. When I was saying again that controlling of the black woman's image by the black man. Again, y'all black women are wearing weaves and wigs. If, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I have a personal belief that the black woman is still a lower class woman, not a lower class woman in the eyesight of man, I mean, in the eyesight of God, or that we're any less human being than anything, but what has happened to us historically over time. And so, again, we have a group of men that are working very hard, even some having shows, calling hair hats and all these things. Again, if your hair in its natural state looks unkept, nappy or whatever, and you put on a wig and you actually look neater, I've heard that said, it looks neater, then why is there a push against looking better? Because again, as long as you look bad, going back to those nails, you're going to have an unkept look, which may make some people feel above you. And again, it might be something that's unconscious, but this is something that I've observed in my life, even from a little girl going from the South. I used to say to myself, I'm a little girl, but I would see a black woman that's like overweight, hair unkept, feet turned over. You don't have the pedicure and things like that. And I used to say, how did this woman get like that? I'm just maybe 9 or 10 or something. And I remember I would say to myself, I don't want to be like that. I didn't know how she got like that. But as time went on, I realized, oh, she's working down there at the Hardee's, or she's working at the chicken factory. She's just trying to make it in the fact that there's no room for her to improve on herself. So again, if she put on a wig, then she's called a name. If she gets some nails done, then it's, oh, what are you trying to do? It's like, let her stay in that state. That is actually what makes some people happy. Her coming out of that state is actually a threat to them, that some men and women can't handle. They can't handle that black woman coming out of that state and taking care of herself. And that's even going on today, in my opinion, amongst us black women. Because why is the attack so much? It doesn't make any sense. Why are we feeling the need to bleach? I mean, people are literally going from dark, 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 dark brown to white almost.
This is
That's
true.
well, now they have it in the drip. I don't know how much it costs. It's probably expensive. They don't even do all those creams and things anymore. It just, you can get it right through the drip. And I think, I'm not going to accuse her of it, but one of the Braxton sisters, I think it was Toni Braxton, there was something going around where she went from her brown color to, like, I mean, white. She
But
went white.
to your point, they even do it when they're retouching the finished photos for the women. The other day, it happened with, I think it's Serena Williams, and the people were making up a
Hmm.
whole noise like, "Yo, y'all made her look Chinese. Like, what's going on?" So you even have it in the industry where if they're not, and the same thing happened with India Irie, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Why are you looking so light?" So for us
Yeah,
to
I
think
remember that.
you remember that? For us to think it's
Yes.
overseas, it's not overseas, it's here. A lot of people who go
Hmm.
into this realm, the whiter they look, is the
Hmm.
more successful they will become, quote unquote.
Hmm.
So, you
Hmm.
know, we just have to be honest that there are a lot of things at play. Some things
Mm-hmm.
external, some things internal. Um, the
Mm-hmm.
external thought process is like you said. If you show up authentically, you like I show up authentically me. You know what I mean? But I,
Right.
I don't work in corporate America, so even me doing the event that I did for the little children the other day, I showed up
Mm-hmm.
authentically me. I showed up
Right.
in my
You're
head. I have to
yourself.
say at myself. However, but there's some
Right.
places where um people may not feel like that they would be accepted if they did so. And again, as being said in the chat, sometimes it's that external pressure that gives that
Yes.
internal conflict. Like I want to speak the way I speak, or I want to look
Right.
move the way I move, but I'm going to be pulled into the office. You know what I mean? And
Right.
told that I'm not on dress code. You know, you know.
Right, right, but
Let me-
who's in charge of these businesses and these corporations?
well,
Not
we
a
already
hundred
know.
percent of the time, it's not us. So we
No.
so we can't control that, you know. And I'm right now, I'm not in corporate America either. So my work that I do, I can, you know, wear my hair how I want, you know, whatever, and I'm fine with it. I'm very confident in it. But I have had professional jobs, and I will admit, yes, when I wore straight styles and things, there was more acceptance. You know, it was almost like you brightened the day. But if you
Hmm.
saw someone in their natural state, can you imagine? You wear a straight you know style, and then don't be of a lighter skin tone, you literally brighten the day. But someone who's darker, it's like it's gloomy that come in. I've
Hmm.
seen that. It was a weird experience, but it was something that I saw with my own eyes. And I actually, in the comment section, I said I had a very beautiful dark friend when I was younger. Well, I was older, you know, but she had told me again, you know, they'll hire you first. So already she's internalizing her dark skin to
Right.
where it is a set of, it's, I mean, affecting her self esteem, and it shouldn't be like that. And that's why, again, with this biracial or mixed race debate or discussions that's going on amongst black women, you know, it's silly to me, because if you say that, for example, biracial or mixed women are fully black, they're black, we have to accept them as black, which is fine with me, then all black women should have the same treatment. No one should be overshadowed or given a preferential treatment just because you're of a lighter skin tone. It doesn't make any sense. Or you have features that are European. Now, my great great grandfather basically looked like a white man, but he was obviously black because he was mixed. But I believe they told me he was of Irish descent, you know, his ancestors or whatever. So yes, I know where I got my pigmentation from, but to me, it doesn't change your level in life unless you're taught how to use your brightness or close near whiteness to your advantage, which most people are not taught that. And in general, we're not taught to use our skills and abilities at all to advance in
Yeah.
this world. I mean,
I mean,
we operate on a level that's very simplistic, and that's why we're having the problems that we're having now. And everything is vanity, vanity, vanity. And so I learned at a young age. I actually had a man ask me one time. He said, "Have I ever?" He asked me, "Have I ever used my looks to get this or get that?" And I looked at the man and I said, "I've never did that because I've never felt the need that I have to." But that was my first time realizing that a certain look with a certain hair texture will get you a certain result easily. And I thought that was pretty pathetic. And matter of fact, one more thing I'm going to say. My own father asked me one time, he said, "Why do you have ugly friends?" I was 14 years old. And the friends I had, I didn't see them as ugly. I saw them as my friends. I didn't understand it. But I had a look, I guess, this little that I learned back then, or I've learned now. It's called, you know, the little preferred look or whatever in color or whatever. And so that really stuck with me all my years, because I said, okay, they categorize us even as young girls who is pretty, quote unquote, desirable and ugly. And I'm talking about some of those friends ended up being professionals, doctors and teachers and things like that. And I'm just like, wow, is this all that life is about? So to say that men don't want that, it's not true. it is very, very true. But to me, my thing is, where has it gotten us as a group? Nowhere. Nowhere. If anything, it's gotten worse. I know two people right now, personally, in my state, where it's not a lot of violence, even in my area, one of them had to bury a family member. The other family member barely made it through gun violence. So I said, now this violence is getting close to my doorstep. And I'm talking about, we never hear guns or anything going on. So where has it gotten us? All chasing all of this vanity. But I'm not going to discourage a woman from taking care of herself, because not taking care of yourself will have a result that you don't want, because no one's going to look back and take care of you. Usually they'll be the one saying, well, you should have took care of yourself, and you shouldn't have been working all of those jobs. So you have to kind of set your own pace. You have to set your own vision for your life. And a lot of Black women and men as well are saying, I'm not going to live like that. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to take that in whatever aspect of life to have a better quality of life. And I think that's one thing that Black people, Black men in particular, going back to the wigs and weaves and eyelashes discussion, that other women do it even more, but they don't have the negative connotations attached to it. And I don't think that's fair.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. So what basically you're saying, the stigma, the stigma
Mm-hmm.
that's attached is not necessarily there when others do it. And the fact that a lot of this stuff, if you look at all the manufacture, it's coming from somewhere else.
It is.
Oftentimes melanated people are the end user. You know what I mean? When you go through the chain of production, they are not the
Mm-hmm.
producer. They don't have the
Mm-hmm.
raw materials. They're not the
Mm-hmm.
originator of the things, that they are just the end user. It's coming
Right.
from someplace else.
Right. Well, I went into, I think it's Sephora, for something. I have never ever been in that store. And walking in right away, I said, this is not for us. This is not for us. I mean, I might have been the only one in there. Like you said, we're the end user. We get it. It's not that we get the leftovers, but we're not the focus. Put it like that.
No.
We're
And
not the focus.
but that's also to show you that there's a level of truth to what's being said. The conversation is that Rihanna became a billionaire, and you ask, well,
Mm-hmm.
how did she become a billionaire? She
Mm-hmm.
realized that melanated people were not the focus in this makeup industry, and
Okay.
so she endeavors to cater to melanated people by having makeup that reflects the different tones. What's the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
Fenty Beauty.
Fenty,
And then
yeah.
this is, yeah, and so this is speaking to the fact that a lot of things that are out there wasn't necessarily created with you in mind. You know what I mean?
Well,
And so when
is that, let me ask you,
mm,
that's something that I know. Again, I'm from the South.
mm,
The things that are done, let me tell you, in my state, they did a section of highway that had not been done in forever. We
mm,
found out that some new condominiums and big fancy prancy
what's
houses was
coming?
built.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I said, wow. So basically, they are building easy access for those
Right.
people, which are not melanated people. And that's just the truth of the matter. You see things coming up, you see things being developed. You are the least one in mind when it's being developed. Like you said, it's usually an afterthought.
Right. So
Just
afterthought. Yeah.
yes, afterthought. And this is in all aspects of life. And it's something serious. It goes from medical, like you're saying, the beauty
Hmm.
industry. I heard another YouTuber talking about refinancing homes, how they did I guess they did look at the numbers and the races of the people, and that Black people were still left out of that
Yeah.
refinancing, which saved money.
There
So
was
I'm
a there was
like,
there was a lady. I don't mean to cut you. There was a lady, and if
yeah,
you want to join the conversation, click the link. I'm wind down in a second. But there was a lady. It was a melanated lady. It was a news report, and she kept trying to get a quote on her home, and
uh-huh,
they kept underbidding. They kept
mm,
underbidding her. They kept lowballing her. So
mm-hmm,
she got a European male friend to come and pretend like it was his house. and got a
Wow.
property appraiser to come. Do you know? Oh, I think it's over $100,000 more than what they were.
More. Oh my
Yes,
gosh. So that tells you.
that shows you that there is. It's not your imagination, John. I know you're saying a lot of things. Colorism is all over. Maybe we'll come back. I did see in passing that conversation, but certain rabbit holes, I'm like, I'm not going down that rabbit hole right
Yeah,
now.
because you got to go to the genesis of it. Like, and I
Right,
like how you said the mixing. That mixing,
right.
these ideas did not come from us.
No.
I've been to the motherland several times, and black is beautiful. But they still, if you're of a lighter hue, actually, when I went there, someone said her skin color is nice
Hmm.
in the motherland.
Wow.
And I'm like, really? Is this what it's still about?
It
That
well.
your value is a color.
I think. I
Where did
think
this come from?
I think, and I'm gonna come back and talk about Panama because I was recently doing some research, and I found my great grandmother went to Panama. But one thing that I found that stuck out to me is that they reinvented racism and segregation in Panama, and they did
Oh
it.
no.
Check it out. Check it out. When they went to go build the canal, and I'll come back and talk about it. But in short, they paid the Europeans. They only gave the Europeans the skilled labor jobs, and they
Okay.
paid
I
them
think
with
I heard of
gold.
that.
They gave them gold coin. And
Mm,
all of the melanated people, they gave silver coin. And so they say they had their commissary. And instead of saying
yes.
only black and only white, it will say gold coin and
And
silver coin
silver.
commissary.
Wow, I didn't know
So they,
that. Mm.
it was crazy. I'll come back and
I
talk
knew
about
I
it.
yeah, my son watched a documentary on it and he was pointing out all the crazy things, but I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. But that's
So,
pointing to what you said. These things are not for us. You are an afterthought. I'm giving you a job because I have to, not because
yeah.
I want to see your black face. It is what it is.
And my mother, I let my mother watch it because it's her foreparents that went there, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe it. So when the narrator said what happens when the French first started digging the canal
Mm-hmm.
in the 1880s, right? They wanted to make it like
Right.
the Suez Canal, so they failed. So America came. FDR was like, "Yo, if we build a canal, we're gonna be a superpower, right? Because we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have
Okay.
access to the region, all of this stuff." So when the the engineers went down, hear what they said. They said we didn't want the black people from the Caribbean because
Mm.
they're lazy. My mother said, "What?" He's
And
like, yeah. So he's like, but what happens is, like you said, he didn't want to hire them, but because they had closer access to getting there, he was kind
right.
of forced in a corner to hire them. So he's like, fine, we're gonna hire you, but we're gonna call you silver coin workers, and we're gonna pay
Right.
you 10 cents an hour, and we're
Mm.
gonna put you in slave cabins, right? And
Right.
I'm telling you, I will come back and talk
Oh my
about it. It was crazy.
gosh. Yeah.
It was
Yeah. I
crazy.
think they got some like I said, my son watched it, so I'm gonna have to check that one out. But oh God, like I said, that reinventing, and again,
Mhm.
it's like that till this
This
day.
day,
It's
to this
just we
very
don't
day.
want to really accept it, and we're doing whatever we can to create a hierarchy, even amongst our lowly position. We're in
Yeah.
lowly positions, but we're trying to create hierarchies in that, and that's where this preference or bi or biracial or wig wearing against non-wig
What comes in?
is there.
You know what? I guess I'll leave it to pop culture, and then where we could see it is some people will say that Kelly Rowland was more talented than Beyonce,
Right.
but Beyonce had the look.
Yes, she
Kelly
did.
Rowland is
That's it.
dark skin. Kelly Rowland has a natural hair. She has a natural looking body. So you know what I'm saying? Because one
Hmm.
had the look, that talent alone. My bad. I seem to have gotten. Can't hear you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The phone just cut off. So with that said, I want if anybody has anything else to say, feel free to share at this time. If not, we're gonna go ahead and wind it down. It is what it is. It's here. I did a video. It's on the channel. I looked over some of the I want to tell you the name of the video. It's when I first started the Red Project, looking at colorism. It was Holly Berry. What's the name of that movie? Um, Queen.
Mm,
I think
okay.
Queen was
I
the name
haven't.
of the
I have
movie.
not even seen that movie yet, but I need
What?
to. I
What?
have not seen it. That's what's crazy. I have not seen it. But I guess it was a part of me that was uncomfortable watching it. You know, that's that thing inside that's just like it might be a genre you don't want to.
Right.
It could be scary movies. You like, ooh, I just don't.
Yeah,
I
nah, I
think
don't
it
do
was
scary movies.
okay. I don't either, but and so I think because I would hear little things growing up, like I told you what my dad said. So it's like it was a place I didn't want to deal with
Right.
because my skin is I'm darker. I've gotten dark over the years just being in the sun and things, but just looking back how light that I was and places like that and knowing that for me I did not look at those type of things. I didn't care. But to
Right.
know that value was put on me as a human being, just because of that. But now that I'm older, I want to deal with it because, again, as this is my thought process, if we're all Black women, we're all in the same position and we should all be getting the same treatment no matter what.
And yeah, like that, like in a
Yeah,
perfect
in a
world,
perfect world.
sis. In a perfect world, but I mean, in reality, I'm trying to find this clip from that movie. They built it into the structure because you got to remember it the large and we went over this. The large majority in the beginning was having a European father and a Black mother, right? Because
Okay.
it was it was highly it wasn't it was unregulated. Let me say the European man, because the woman was property, he was more inclined to sleep with the enslaved woman and produce the mulatto, right? So it's very different. That means that she is the offspring of the European male versus the European woman with the Black man. We see more of that today. But at
Mm-hmm.
that time, a lot of the way you're going to get that mixture. So that means that the
Mm-hmm.
closer you were to master, not just because your
Right.
skin was white, the closer you were to master was the
Right.
more advantaged you were. The name of the video I did back in the day is called High Yellow, The Roots of
Oh,
Colorism.
okay. We'll
High,
have to
yeah,
check that
I'm a
out.
tip because and the short of it is that Halle Berry's character felt like she should get certain advantages because she was high yellow. They used to call them yellow gals. Hey, yellow gal.
Mm.
That's what the European men used to say. Or even a black man was like, so for the black man, if he couldn't get a European girl, the next best
Mm-hmm.
thing was the yellow gal.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes. I
and,
could. I could
and
see that.
you can see it? Okay. So this is when that structure came in. I'm gonna share, maybe we'll come back another time and look at when I have more time to go over this stuff. I ain't got all that
Right.
time now.
I know.
But I might come back and talk about it because
Because there's even layers to that. I mean, just being honest, it's not as simplistic as we would like to paint it out to be, but it's still an issue still to this day. It affects us all.
I can talk about it because even the way, like you said, it's being approached today is not doing it fully justice. You know what I'm saying? Full
Mm-hmm.
justice on the conversation. Or there's whole TikTok videos of mixed children just
Mm-hmm.
confused. There's whole
Yes.
TikTok videos of them just not knowing because you don't belong in either world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a
And that's
difficult place
true.
to
And
be.
right. And that's the part when I said I thought to myself, if the biracials and mixed are Black, then why aren't all Black women, I'm talking about Black women, treated the same? It makes no sense. Going back to, and I'm not trying to bring up the color purple, but he said, you're black, you're
Uh-oh.
ugly, you're
Uh-oh.
nothing at all.
Not the color purple.
Yeah, as a child that stays with you forever, but she's a what they call like an ambiguous black woman. Why is an ambiguous industrial black woman who's holding her own, why does she have to be black, ugly, and nothing at all? Because that is her place to be. And her being in that place, it makes others feel better about themselves, but it shouldn't be that way. And as a group, again, all of this that's happened from way back then, as you said, the genesis of it, who introduced it, it hasn't benefited us even till now. Like I said, I've been to the motherland, I see what's going on. And one thing that I noticed, I said, I told someone, why did those African tribe leaders go and get a white woman, and now her children are going to be the next one in line as far as leaders? If they believe in polygamy, which is another subject for another day, why not make the melanated woman the first wife and go get any other color you want and make them second and third and fourth or whatever other number in line? That will keep the confusion down. But it's not that way. It's still that desire for whiteness. But how has that even helped Africa to this day? And I'm not going to go there because it's messed up. Just put it like that. I've been there. So.
Hmm. Something to think about. Something to think about. John, as usual, is not content with the direction of the
I know.
conversation.
That's why I jumped on here, because I said, listen, let me just say what I got to say.
If I could, I know I said I was going to wrap it up, but here's something that came to my mind as you were speaking. As it relates to, we're putting color on it, right? But we're talking about proximity to power, really, right? So,
Yes.
what makes the wife of the local plumber different from the wife of the president?
Access to power, access to
Okay,
knowledge, access to
so, so,
money.
so right. So the diminishing of the melanated woman is oftentimes not just a reflection of her, but her access to somebody who has been disempowered.
Right. And
So,
well, and remember, like I was saying, it goes back to why the focus of wigs and weaves and hair hats and nails. They say take those things away because it puts the black woman back at the lower bottom of the totem pole. That's the way that I see it. That's what I saw in my own with my own eyes. When a woman is glammed up, when she's looking nice, or she has certain features or hair that can easily do whatever, it's some preferential treatment. When she's just herself, natural and normal with her woolly hair, it's a reminder of
your
who they
proximity,
are. Yes,
right?
yes. Yes,
Proximity.
that you said it right. That proximity to a lack of access, a lack of resources, a
Who you
lack
really
of,
are.
yes. And so that's part of the issue. But again, humanly speaking, I think we're all equal in God's eyes. We all have skills, we all have abilities,
Right.
but again, money makes it look better. And not only that, it can go on from generation to generation. In one country, I told you I've been over to the motherland. I'm not going to say where, but one of the guys married a white woman. That white woman is from a European country, and she wants to run for some type of office in one of those countries. And I noticed the white woman can speak not only the native language, but other languages as well. And I said that melanated man went and taught, made sure that that white woman and her children knew everything. Her and her children got an automatic upgrade in this life, in this world. But when it comes to you being melanated, those village women, they won't even teach them ABCs, because you have to have someone to stay at that level. You can't level up. You can't, I don't know what they call it, dolled up, or the names the fancy names that they use, because again, someone has to play that lower level. Someone has to. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it's black women do. That's
Okay,
why
we'll have
that's why it's an argument.
yeah, yeah, like India just said, it's a shame black women can't do what they want without a symposium. You gotta have a whole You gotta come together and have a whole discussion, a United Nations meeting of the minds. You feel me?
That shows the state, and that shows that because we're talking about it, that means we're fighting against a force that doesn't want it, that may even be intimidated by it. Why do we
We'll
have to
come back.
fight for it when all other groups can have it freely?
Questions we must ask. That's a question. That's a question. We'll come back and have more of that discussion. For those who just joined us, welcome. I know we came on here. We covered Jacure in the beginning, and we covered
Yeah.
one booby, leaky booby lady in the beginning as well. And then the conversation just kind of meandered over here. So thank you for rocking with us. I'll go ahead and make sure you visit the Yummy Cottage as well. And if you have a
Yes.
business that's in line with what we do and you need some promotion services, just go ahead and email me and we can have a discussion. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and everybody have a blessed day.
All
Thank
righty.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much
All
for
right.
coming through, sis.
Okay.